Olive Burrows, and you're tuned into NTV Weekend Edition. Plenty lined up, including what we'll highlight for you next.
Tonight, tough lessons in Kapedo.
Sasa mkubwa yetu ameshauawa, ni nini nyingine? Wengi wametoka.
Iko walimu wengine, mtu alitoka Murang'a hajawahi hata kusikia mlio wa risasi, hata pikipiki kipasuka tairi ako chini ya kitanda.
Learning further affected as teachers flee Kapedo over fatal attacks. Also tonight, the pandemic burden is still weighing heavy on many Kenyans. Jobs are hard to come by.
Tangu corona kuanza, pesa ingawa sina kazi yenye naweza sema ni kazi, ni kuishi kwa kibarua tu kidogo kidogo.
Worse is when one has to sleep on an empty stomach.
Mzee yangu wana kazi, tunangojanga tu ule mtu anaweza akatuonea huruma, atununulie chakula, na tukikosa tunakaa tu hivyo.
Plus, public pressure playing out in bed.
People feel some pressure because they hear others are able to perform to a certain extent.
The rising abuse of male enhancement pills is proving to be a bitter pill to swallow.
Side effects could involve major organs in the body, including causing certain issues with the heart and generally the circulatory system.
Concerns over how easy it is to buy them over the counter. And
alishika mtoto shingo akamfinya, akisema anamuokoa kwa mashetani.
She claimed she was exorcising demons from her son. She killed him. A dark day in Kirinyaga.
This is Weekend Edition with Olive Burrows.
With me tonight, we have Flora Atieno as our sign language interpreter. Teachers have fled Kapedo just weeks since the academic year resumed. 5 schools have been closed due to the escalation in fighting between government forces and armed bandits. Already, the county has lost 15 schools due to the rising lakes in the county. And in another development to do with that story, the Silale member of County Assembly this afternoon surrendered to police after he was called out for his role in the ongoing conflict in Kapedo.
A student innocently records her fellow students as they disembark a police lorry in Kapedo at the beginning of the operation to pursue bandits, who have since killed 4 police officers in Kapedo. By Thursday, the operation had claimed 1 teacher's life and another left with an arrow wound as bandits invaded where she was living in Genyang. According to this teacher, many of her colleagues have fled the area and no learning is taking place.
Kutoka wakati ule DHR Osigei na wenzake wakati walichukuliwa na sijui walienda kuuawa kama sijui iliendelea nini, baada ya vifo vyao sasa tension imekuwa na walimu wameshatoka. Sasa mkubwa yetu ameshauawa, ni nini nyingine? Wengi wametoka.
The issue of risk allowance, insurance cover related to banditry, related to insecurity should be provided to teachers.
A plan to transfer local teachers from Tiati is underway, and the Ministry of Education will now have to employ locals.
Iko walimu wengine, mtu alitoka Murang'a hajawahi hata kusikia mlio wa risasi, hata pikipiki kipasuka tairi ako chini ya kitanda. Unatarajia mwalimu sasa marisasi zinalia pale, walihama kitambo. So watu wakiambia shule zifunguliwe, nani ataenda kufunza watoto? Na ndipo hao jamaa wanajaribia. So as tumeamua na watu wa education kwamba itafute walimu kutoka sehemu hizo wapelekwe huko, waende wakafunza watoto huko. Because now we cannot waste any more time. Hali ya usalama katika kusoma shule iko sawa sawa, kuna mtu anataka shule, nataka watoto warudi kwa shule, walimu tafute wengine waingie pale, masomo endelee.
Humanitarian aid has begun trickling into Kapedo. while those in Kapedo remain shut out from the rest of the country due to heightened security along its borders. Some residents have welcomed the operation, saying those in opposition are being hypocritical.
Wakati la askari aliwawa, mbona hamkulalamika? Wakati askari 23 aliwawa, mbona hamkufanya maandamano? Wakati chief ambaye chief wa Ngororo location aliwawa, mbona hamkufanya maandamano? Wakati ule mama wa Sukutata ambaye alizaa mtoto wa Sukutata akawawa na mtoto yake, mbona hamkufanya maandamano? Leo hii wakati serikali wanatafuta wakora, mnafanya maandamano kwamba stop extra killing.
Silale member of County Assembly Nelson Lotella has appeared before the Nakuru DCI officers after being called out by security officials as one of the key suspects supplying arms and ammunition to bandits. He was let go after 3 hours of questioning.
Especially elected leaders, tafadhali wacheni ushenzi. Wacha tu ushenzi, tu maana ni ushenzi. Yeah? Ukienda kule Nairobi unaongea kizungu mingi sana. Unafunga tai. Very disciplined person. Ukija pale on the ground unakuwa mtu pumbavu, mtu mshenzi kabisa ya mwisho, unawacha bandits ndio wanaongoza wewe sasa.
Silale member of County Assembly Nelson Lotella becomes the second leader from Baringo County to receive summons from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations here in Nakuru County. Lotella and William Kamket, Tiati member of Parliament, are expected to appear before the DCI officers on Tuesday and Thursday next week. At the same time, the onslaught on bandits continues in Kapedo. Bridget, Ghana, NTV, Nakuru.
Away from the security situation in Kapedo, let's take a look at the COVID-19 situation in the country. And by March 2021, COVID-19 will have been officially in Kenya for a year. The months past have offered some of the most difficult times for many in the country. The pandemic has hit the heart of the nation, not only the healthcare situation, but the education sector as well as the economy. And the economy has left many desolate without a financial standing and wondering where their next meal will come from. Leila Mohammed paints the picture of a pandemic burden through the lives of two families.
Robert and Mary Gaku have lived in Nairobi's Makongeni estate for close to 4 decades. They have familiarized themselves with the surroundings over the years, so much so that they can literally maneuver its aisles with their eyes closed. Life in the dark has been the new reality for Mary, who until 10 years ago enjoyed the blessing of sight. But the lights went out due to underlying conditions that introduced a new normal to her life and those of her family members.
Tulipoana hakuwa kipofu. Amekuwa kipofu nyumaye, lakini maisha hayakuwa gumu sana isipokuwa wakati wa corona.
Hii macho yangu ilipotea kwa ajili ya sukari. Mimi mbeleni sikujua ati sukari ni ugonjwa gani. Ilinikuta tu ikaharibu macho. Nikikuja kujua macho imeharibika ndio nilijua ati niko na sukari.
The new reality forced her husband to make changes in how their family lives, thus had to ensure that his wife was under the watch of a caregiver at all times, even when he was away at work.
Mimi mwenyewe ni dereva na nilikuwa naona mtu ananipatia kazi, aniambia peleka gari hii na watu hao mahali fulani, mrudi jioni. Najipanga na wacha nimepikia bibi yangu kila kitu hapa na tafuta mtu na mwambia bibi yangu akitaka kwenda kwa show umpeleke. Siku hizi hakuna hata kazi moja hata ya mijengo.
The family says that despite the challenges and the dark times they faced, they always got by. However, in the last few months, things have become tougher as the COVID-19 pandemic has eaten into their livelihood. Robert's trips, which deliver their daily bread, have declined to a near zero, so he spends most of his days taking care of his wife.
Hana kazi, mzee yangu hana kazi. Tunangojanga tu ule mtu anaweza akatuonea huruma, atununulie chakula, na tukikosa tunakaa tu hivyo.
The dust and soot all over their house has never been an indication of dark times according to them. Even in their pain, they find time to share a laugh in memory of how precious the moments they share are to them. But even so often, Robert seeks a change in their lives.
tunapata tabu na shida nyingi. Hata nyumba saa zingine tunalipa manusu, na kama ingewezekana tuwe relocated from Nairobi twende nyumbani. Pale tunaweza kujua, naweza kuacha bibi yangu kwa kazi fulani, nami niende, nitaweza kukaa na msichana wangu. Sasa pia anataka kufanya kazi ya kulima, vile mambo yamekuwa magumu.
Hundreds of kilometers away in Busia County, we find 39-year-old Jackton Peter Meso seated at his home in Bomotiru village. The father of 6 is seated outside, watching over the family's birds as he awaits breakfast. He dons a mask every time he leaves the house, and in this instance, in light of our presence, he however tells us the reason behind the need to wear masks hasn't well been articulated to him.
Tangu mwaka yanze, maisha ya COVID-19 imekuwa ngumu. Mwanzo kabisa kupata kuelewa maana nini inafuatilia kufuatana na hiyo COVID imekuwa ni shida. Unasikia tu wanasema, ingawa wanasema yes, wanasema kuna COVID, but kuelewa ni ngumu, unashindwa nani atakwambia hivi ama uelewe inaenda aje. So challenge yenye hapo kubwa ni kupata tu ufahamu wa COVID-19 inaendaje ama vile ina affect kwa mwili.
Even with the little knowledge he has, he says that it has been important for him to ensure that everyone in his home is safe from the COVID-19 disease that has claimed the lives of more than 1,700 people in Kenya over the last 10 months.
Siwezi sema ni corona, but tangu corona ianze ni vile tu kusikizo hisia labda kitu kama homa ya kawaida, ingawa siwezi sema ilikuwa corona ama huenda ilikuwa, but at least nimejaribu kujikinga vile naenda kichwa kuuma, maumivu tu kidogo kidogo, nimejikinga ku make sure hakuna mtu anaumia kwa familia.
Like many Kenyans, Jackton knows too well the economic heat the virus has served the nation and speaks of a more difficult experience trying to put food on the table for his children.
Tangu corona kuanza, pesa ingawa sina kazi yenye naweza sema ni kazi, ni kuishi kwa kibarua tu kidogo kidogo. Mahali wa kutafuta msaada pia watu wamekuwa wagumu, wanaleta porojo mingi wakati wanafaa kusaidia.
Leila Mohamed, NTV.
We have some reprieve tonight as no fatalities have been reported on account of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, according to the Ministry of Health. However, that in no way means that anyone should afford to let their guard down. If anything, it should encourage everyone to remain vigilant, with 129 infections recorded in the last government statistics out of a sample size of 5,091. That brings to 99,898 the number of COVID infections recorded in Kenya since the first patient in March last year. There are currently 541 infected persons admitted to hospital, with 27 of them in intensive care. Another 1,564 are receiving treatment at home. 70 people have been reported as having been discharged from hospital in the last 24 hours. Again, as good news as it is that we have no fatalities today, we have to keep vigilant. Now, after battling COVID-19 for the last 11 months, Kenya is now in the process of acquiring COVID-19 vaccinations. And if you're wondering how much they will cost, or perhaps who will get them first, join Anita Nkonga in a little bit as she seeks answers from the Ministry of Health, more specifically Mercy Wangangi, the Chief Administrative Secretary in that ministry. Sale of unprescribed sexual performance enhancement drugs by quacks and other pharmacists as well is posing a great threat, one that has turned fatal in some instances. The Kenya Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, which is warning against the unguided use of the drugs, also states that social pressure and misconceptions are a major contributor to the abuse of the drugs. Seth Olale covered that.
Such are the stories that have raised discussions and debates over the use of sexual performance enhancement drugs, incidents of men dying during or after intercourse as a result of taking what turned to be a bitter pill. They have also evoked humor and ridicule, but herein are serious concerns about the male enhancement pills, concerns that pharmacists say are not a laughing matter on account of various concerns. We sought to understand, first, why there is such a demand for the blue pills as they are referred to.
People age, as men age, certain functions of the body tend to slow down. Therefore, we expect that at a certain age, even sexual functions would naturally slow down. Therefore, people who are aged probably 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond will not perform as much or as well, so to speak, as those who are much younger.
While the older generation may have more of medical and biological reasons, younger men are taking the drugs and even abusing them for a different reason.
People feel some pressure because they hear others are able to perform to a certain extent, while they are probably feeling like they're not able to do the kind of things they hear their friends or other people in the social media spaces doing. So probably it's a matter of pressure from other sources, friends, associates, people they relate with in social media, or perhaps it could also be as a result of pressure from the people that they're engaging in sexual acts with.
While the social pressure mounts and the men oblige, the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya is warning of dire consequences over the use of the sexual performance enhancement drugs at will. The repercussions the PSK talks about have been seen playing out in public, with various reports of death by the blue pill. With the risks involved, there remains a great concern over pharmacies dispensing the drugs without buyers presenting a doctor's prescription. We sought to ascertain whether medics at pharmacies are demanding for a prescription before selling the sexual performance enhancement drugs. Our random check started at this chemist situated inside Nairobi's Central Business District. Without submitting any doctor's prescription, I was able to purchase one 500 milligram pill at 100 shillings. The attendant did not even bother to indicate usage instructions. The script was the same at the next chemist, still in the CBD, where I was able to obtain another sexual performance pill without being required to produce a prescription as required by law.
And you never know, there may be dozens or even thousands of such outlets just here alone in Nairobi Central Business District, meaning that many lives are at risk, and especially those who are vulnerable.
We have a challenge as a country that we have many people out there that operate in pharmacies that are not necessarily professionals. And this is the biggest challenge that we have, that they are dispensing these medications that are clearly labeled as prescription-only medicines. If you look at the packet, they're always labeled as prescription-only medicines. But these people that we refer to as quacks are busy dispensing these medicines without prescriptions.
Mild effects caused by the enhancement drugs, which are casually available at low cost, include headaches, nose bleeding, body discomfort, pain in the upper abdomen, and trouble falling or staying asleep. While severe effects range from mild and short-lived decrease in blood pressure, vision loss, to unwanted, persistent, and long-standing erection, with incidences of people falling victim to effects of the performance enhancers. Members of the public are being urged to only use the pills after proper urological assessment and recommendation from a qualified and registered doctor or pharmacist. Seth Olale, NTV.
Well, these are just some of the pills that Seth Olale was able to purchase without a prescription over the counter. And I wonder what you have to say on the subject. I've seen a lot of jokes online about playing away from home and soldiers not risking life and limb in the barracks. But I seriously want to know what you have to say on the subject. The hashtag is NTV Weekend Edition. The Twitter handle is at NTV Kenya. Mine is at O Burrows. See you on the other side of this break.
When they flip and roll and start to crawl away, tape diapers can be hard to put on. Then it's time for all-round fit Pampers pants. Easy to pull on even when they're moving around for a great fit and up to 12 hours of dryness. And easy to remove. Just tear the sides, lift away, roll up the pants, and you're all done.
A 2-piece pack now available at only 50 bob.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Ah, Helen Paul.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I've been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic's thick formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach.
Wow, now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
Huyu ni Mike last week. Huyu ni yeye this week. Kwani kuliendaje? Vile Mike ni fan wa movie na futa, alibambika yake yote kupata discount ya GoTV Max. Aka get maximum entertainment for less. Sahi anajinais na the best of Serie A, La Liga, and more na movies za mastaa wa nguvu majuu. Hakuna kuhata action tena.
You know what?
Upgrade to GoTV Max for just 890 shillings leo. GoTV, love it.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Welcome to our new office. Wonderful sight.
Just imagine 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the parking is, and then the warehouse front door here, the reception here, and the fridges here. The lorry's entrance there, and their exit there. One way only. What is it?
So where is the building?
Fast, stress-free construction. Get your factory-made buildings in 10 weeks with SafBuild. Order yours now. SafBuild, a quality building solution from MRM.
What is a super house, you ask? This week we have a look at the home of the century.
You must ensure that the architectural form, the elevations and sections have a strong aesthetic appeal.
Then a review of a 5-bedroom stunning masterpiece. So that when their guests come over, they're able to feel welcomed and they're able to feel nice as if they're living in a hotel. And what kind of furniture does a super client look for?
The quality, the craftsmanship that goes into making a furniture piece to bring it to stand out in your space.
Cut the show this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy Gated Community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kuamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV Weekend Edition. And before we went on break, we had a report by Seth Olale on the unregulated dispensing of male enhancement drugs. I would be remiss if I did not share his Twitter handle for your feedback. His Twitter handle is @Seth Olale. Now, I did promise you an exclusive one-on-one interview with Anita Nkonge with the CAS in the Ministry of Health, that is Mercy Mwangangi, on vaccines. I'm sure you're curious how and when they will be administered in Kenya. Here is that interview.
The Ministry of Health says 40% of the population will be vaccinated through the National Vaccination Program. The vaccination exercise will cover the 40% of the population in 3 phases.
Phase 1 will involve vaccinating about 1.25 million Kenyans, and these Kenyans are the Kenyans that we call the frontline workers. So it consists of healthcare workers, the army, police force, and our teachers. Okay. And that's the first phase. And we'll be concentrating on this first phase for the next 6 months. These are the people who are interacting with people on a day-to-day, and therefore these are the people who, stand higher probabilities of transmitting COVID-19.
The second phase will target 5.1 million Kenyans who are over the age of 50, whilst the third will focus on 5.2 million Kenyans with chronic conditions. The vaccine task force has been put in place to not only deal with the regulation of the vaccines, but the implementation, facilitation, and financing of the vaccines.
So there's a financing sort of committee that's dealing with that. They're also dealing with the logistics of the vaccine. Right. How are we going to move it across the country? How are we going to ensure that we actually do some vigilance in the country to ensure any, unwanted effects, any adverse effects from, getting a vaccine are identified and dealt with.
Kenya will use at least 2 mechanisms in the vaccination program: the Africa CDC and the COVAX initiative. Both seek to help African countries get COVID-19 vaccines, and Kenya is a member of both.
Through that facility, we have actually been able to negotiate to the price of $7.70, so $7.70 for the cost of 1 vaccine dose. Okay. So that's about 770 Kenya shillings if you use the exchange rate of 110. And so that applies for whatever vaccine candidate we get, be it the Pfizer, be it the Chadox, which is the AstraZeneca, be it Moderna, be it Sinovac. That's the agreement that we have under the Gavi COVAX facility.
The Ministry of Health says the government is set to put aside 43 billion Kenyan shillings to fund the vaccines initiative.
The reason why we have not begun vaccination is not because of resources. We actually have secured the money. We have the money. But the vaccine candidate doses are not yet available due to supply chain issues in terms of the different companies, and they'll be ready when they're ready. As we speak today, through the Gavi facility, we already have secured 19.7 billion of these resources. Those are available. The 23 billion will then perhaps be secured through our World Bank credit line as well as exchequer financing for us to be able to cover that population, who we feel if we can get 40% of Kenyans in, then we should be, near herd immunity, particularly with collaboration from private sector to get the extra 20%.
Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe and President Uhuru Kenyatta are set to launch the national vaccine program soon. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
If you'd like to rewatch that interview, you can always find it on our NTV Kenya YouTube channel. Do pay it to visit. Plenty more content that would be of interest to you. Now, a mother in Mukui, Ndia in Kirinyaga County killed her 5-year-old son while performing an exorcism on him. The woman is being held at Sagana Police Station and will be arraigned at the Baricho Court on Monday. Nuru Abdulaziz with that bizarre incident. And again, if you'd like to share your thoughts, the handle is at NTV Kenya. Mine is at Olive Burrows. Once I have a look, I'll let you know what Nuru Abdulaziz's handle is, but it is truly a disturbing story, and here it is.
The residents here are shocked and enraged after a woman killed her son while trying to expel demons out of him.
Nilipomuuliza akaniambia alishika mtoto shingo akamfinya. Akisema anamuokoa kwa mashetani.
Makaniambia ati Biblia ndio walipatiwa huko kanisani. Na wakati wa Njohi alikuwa anaamuka, anaona mwangaza kwa nyumba na akaona paka inakaria katikati ya Biblia, ya hiyo Biblia. Wanjohi akaweka maji chumbi. Sasa akaanza kumwagilia hiyo paka. Ati wakati hiyo paka ilikuwa inaenda, kuna mgurumo ilikuwa ndani ya nyumba.
The 36-year-old woman has told police she was speaking to her gods who had instructed her to strangle the minor.
Sasa tulipofika Sagana, tukaenda tukampeleka mtoto, madaktari wakampokea. Daktari ndio alituambia huyu mtoto alifariki dakika 10 zilizopita.
The mother is a follower of an Akorino church at Kiangwashi. The body of the 5-year-old, who was a pupil at Mukoi Primary School, was moved to Kerugoya Hospital mortuary awaiting an autopsy report.
Ona kitendo kama hii ni mambo huwa nasikia kwa radio na ninaona kwa TV.
Confirming the incident, Ndia Sub-County Deputy County Commissioner Moses Ivuto, who spoke to NTV on the phone, said the suspect is being held at Sagana Police Station and will be arraigned at the Baricho Court on Monday. Nuru Abdulaziz, NTV.
Shocking is right. Speak directly to Nuru Abdulaziz. Her Twitter handle is at Nuru_Abdulaziz. Now to some politics now. An ODM party leader, Raila Odinga, has taken on Deputy President William Ruto, no surprise there, on his insistence that the former Prime Minister and his party should take responsibility for the failures of the Jubilee government. Odinga took to social media to hit out at Ruto and seeking to show him that he should not disassociate himself from the government's problems and follies. Even to his own admission, he posted, and I quote, "Mr. 6 months, the youngsters you promised laptops 8 years ago are old enough to see through your lies. The youth you promised 8 million jobs in 8 years can see through the wheelbarrow lie you are now peddling. It has been 8 years, Mr. 6 months, and not 3 years. No, Mr. 6 months." Odinga then shared a video of 2 instances where he believes the DP contradicted himself in his own words.
You are squarely to blame for the failure of this administration to deliver on our mandate because you came and overturned our priorities and changed our focus.
Supposed to trust the institutions, isn't it? My friend, the fact that I am elected deputy president means the people of Kenya, if things go wrong in this government, President Uhuru Kenyatta and I will be the ones to be asked. Forget even about MD of, I don't know, some organization, cabinet secretary this and cabinet secretary that. Ultimately, the people that were given the mandate to run the affairs of this government by the people of Kenya is President Uhuru Kenyatta and I. Tell me for 1 minute, why, after the trust that people of Kenya put on me, why would I sit on national television and say something that's untrue? And to what gain and to what end?
And that, Raila Odinga says, is proof of the deputy president's dishonesty. What say you? While Odinga did not speak on the issues in person while at a funeral in Nyatike, his allies went ham, to use a colloquial term, on the deputy president, claiming that he is not the man for the top job and that he is more of a power-hungry individual than a servant of the people.
I can tell you today, if you ask Ruto, what is the year this year? Because he's so obsessed with power, he'll tell you we are in 2022. Because that's all he dreams about.
There is no way somebody keeps calling himself the deputy president of Kenya and he keeps waking up to abuse the very president that he is deputizing.
Wale wengi ambao wamekuwa wakioppose BBI are the greatest beneficiaries of BBI. Na wale wengine wanaoppose BBI saa hii ndio wale walikuwa wanaoppose constitution wakati ilikuja na sasa hivi ndio wanaenjoy hiyo constitution.
Government's ills must be blamed squarely on William Ruto because he's the only person who has been cited claiming that they are going to give youth of this country 1 million jobs every year.
Kama unafikiria na kichwa yako ni timamu na wewe ni mtu ambaye anaona mbali, usifate hiyo njia ya William Ruto. Utakuja kuingia pali pabaya sana hapa 2022.
We'll bring you the shame of politics at a funeral in Bungoma on the other side of this break.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief
and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Advance for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Advance. This has been Medifax for Panadol.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Siku ya leo tuko na successful bidder, wacha tumjue.
Kwa majina naitwa Michael Madheri Matere. Yes, kutoka Ngecha Rimuru.
Ni namba gani ya shini na unique ulitumia ndio uweze kubid?
Namba yangu ilikuwa 1169.
Uko na hiyo pesa?
Niko nayo hapa.
Ah, si leta hiyo. Receipt yake ndio hiyo. Kifunguo ndio hiyo. How low can you go? Unaweza enda chini. Mpaka wapi? Bid, bid, bid now. I mean now.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV Weekend Edition. Now, Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi has called upon politicians to desist from meddling in the affairs and processes of the Judicial Service Commission as it selects the next Chief Justice. Mudavadi was the subject of praise and endorsements by various leaders from Western Kenya as the best choice for president in next year's elections.
Katika population ya nchi, sisi walio ndio tuko namba moja. And we have no doubt that the next president of this country, 2022, is seated with us here, none other than Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi. President ameongea, sisi hatutakubali Waluya kudubiwa kama mtungi ya busa. Kila yeyote anakuja na mrija anakunywa, anatema mate na anaenda.
Ile ya mwaka jana na ile ya mwaka ujao na ile ya mwaka huu itakuwa tofauti. Tukifika pale bas tutakaa chini na tuone.
Musalia ana chama chake cha ANC. Wetangula ana chama chake cha Ford Kenya. Wycliffe Oparanya is a deputy leader wa ODM. Muwapatie nafasi ya kutongoza wale watu wengine katika Kenya mzima, na wakifika hapo mbele watuambie line ni hii.
Let us not gamble. We have been gambling for too long. Mambo ya betting. Stop betting. Look for the right leadership. And I can tell you I'm one of those that will qualify for that.
The shame of politics at a funeral became more evident in Bungoma when the wrangles within the Ford Kenya party manifested as chaos and fights. The team, allied to Bungoma Governor Wycliffe Wangamati and Kandui Member of Parliament Wafula Wamunyinyi supporters, did not want anyone from Moses Wetangula's faction to speak at Bungoma's former Chief Officer for Trade, Christine Wasike's funeral. So, when Kiminini Member of Parliament Chris Wamalwa went up to address the mourners, they were not going to have any of it, and so they began protesting, and there was retaliation and ultimately chaos, and some punches were thrown. Chairs were also tossed around as some of the leaders made efforts to stop the fracas. If you grew up watching television anytime between 1985 and 2010, then the name Larry King should be familiar to you. For 25 years, he hosted heads of government, business moguls, celebrities, and your everyday Joe on CNN's Larry King Live. The veteran talk show host was born Lawrence Harvey Zega, and he took his final bow aged 87 on Saturday. Today, we tip our hats to the legend with this report.
Welcome to a special edition of Larry King Live.
He may not have come in through the front door, but Larry King was a fixture in many homes. If ever there was a household name, it was the legend Larry King. In his trademark suspenders and rolled up sleeves, he made himself at home in many living rooms on his show Larry King Live. And when he did so, he was always in good company.
I was called a terrorist yesterday.
Having hosted every U.S. president since the 38th Gerald Ford in the 70s. In his 63-year career, he did more than 50,000 interviews, leading CNN to describe him as the Muhammad Ali of the broadcast interview. His non-confrontational style relaxed his guests and made him readily relatable to his audience.
Do you ask good questions? Do you ask shorter questions so that the guests can talk? Do you listen to the answers? And do you follow up based on what the guest said?
Larry King moved on from CNN after a 25-year stint to co-found Aura Media, where he continued his broadcast career well into his twilight years. While one could argue he was married to his job, in actual fact, he was married 8 times to 7 women and had 5 children, 9 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren.
I was in love with what I was doing. You know why? It never lets me down.
2020 was a tough year for him as he lost 2 of his children within weeks of each other. King lost a 51-year-old daughter to lung cancer and a 65-year-old son to a heart attack. King himself underwent surgery to treat lung cancer in 2017 and suffered a stroke in 2019 that left him in a coma for weeks. The 87-year-old TV star was taken to hospital in Los Angeles in late December 2020 after testing positive for COVID-19.
I have never, in 58 years, gone to work. I've gone to do a show. I've never gone to work.
He died at the Cedars Sinai Medical Center. He may not have been born a king, but he was truly a king of the airwaves. We take a break.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Bashunenge magari.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Our mega 50% off discount is extended till January 31st at Istiqbal. We offer quality, luxurious, Turkish-designed home furniture. Come and enjoy our limitless range of sofas, dining, beds, and mattresses, all tailored to meet your unique family taste. We bring the spark to your everyday space. Visit our Mombasa Road showroom at Panasar Center opposite Airtel and our flagship branch in Nakuru, Westside Mall. Don't miss out.
Maji mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa. Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hi, guy, what the? Let 'em know
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
Again, thank you for staying with us on NTV Weekend Edition. Now, a long-standing tussle over thousands of acres of land occupied by multinational fruit processor Del Monte Limited and the Kandara Residents Association members may soon come to an end following government's intervention. Plans are underway to settle 5,000 families that have been fighting for a stake of the huge chunk of land and on which Del Monte grows pineapples mainly for export.
The land that straddles Kiambu and Murang'a counties and measuring about 3,000 acres has been the subject of a protracted legal battle between multinational fruit processor Del Monte Limited and the residents. Area residents have wanted part of the land that Del Monte does not utilize, claiming their ancestors were ejected from the area to pave the way for the pineapple farm during the colonial era. Locals have been demanding over 5,000 acres be excised from the company's hold and handed back to them. A deal has now been reached to resettle the locals following President Uhuru Kenyatta's intervention.
Hakuna hata kitu moja inaitwa pineapple on 7,000 acres. We will withdraw all the cases that we have taken against, and they also have no choice because all the leases are ending next year. So that if they don't withdraw those cases, they will have no RAD. They will have to go home.
According to the chairman of Kandara Residents Association, Philip Kamau, most of the beneficiaries are victims of historical injustices.
Mashamba ilikuwa ya mababu zetu na tuna haki ya kurudishiwa ili tusibaki kuitwa squatters sisi na vizazi vyetu while hii mashamba ni yetu.
But the major beneficiaries are youth groups, major beneficiaries are women groups. We shall have a level 5 hospital.
Kamau also said he has filed a petition seeking compensation for locals whose rights were violated by the company guards. The surrendered land will be used to build an industrial park, cottage industries, schools, and low-cost housing, hospitals, and other amenities. Uzongoi, NTV.
There was drama at Mariakani Hospital in South B Estate in Nairobi when medics declared a man dead, yet the residents who rushed the bleeding 64-year-old claimed that the doctors did not attend to him or provide any first aid and instead left him helplessly bleeding. Thomas Moshoge Rasugu was rushed there for treatment after a work-related accident where he was cut by a grinder he was using. The drama happened at about 9 a.m. on Friday, yet the welder was taken to hospital at 5 p.m. At 9 p.m. on Friday, and yet he was taken to hospital at 5 p.m. on Saturday. The angry group claimed that the man was still warm and could have possibly still been alive, having lost confidence in the doctors and nurses who appeared to be unwilling to help him from the get-go. Police officers stepped in to calm the situation and then rushed the man to Kenyatta National Hospital to confirm if he was alive or dead.
Wale walikuwa hapa present you, walikuwa on duty, pia wachunguzwe. Kwa sasa hivi hatuna la kufanya, lakini tunaomba Mungu kwa sababu amepelekwa Kenyatta, daktari wa mwisho atuambie kabisa, kwa sababu tuko na matumaini yule mgonjwa wetu akiweza kuwa reinstated ama awekewe oxygen anaweza kuwa hai, kwa sababu bado hako joto mwili mzima.
Sports news on the other side of this break.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Advance for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Advance. This has been Medifax for Panadol.
What is the Super House, you ask? This week we have a look at the home of the century.
You must ensure that the architectural form, the elevations and sections have a strong aesthetic appeal.
Then a review of a 5-bedroom stunning masterpiece.
So that when their guests come over, they're able to feel welcomed and they're able to feel nice as if they're living in a hotel.
And what kind of furniture does a super client look for?
The quality, the craftsmanship that goes into making a furniture piece to bring it to stand out in your space.
Cut the show this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kwamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Hoping your weekend has gotten off to the perfect start, I'm Idoringa. Time for sports. And Football Kenya Federation Premier League defending champions Gor Mahia was stunned 1-0 by top-flight returnees Vihiga United. That was at the Kasarani Annex, while Tusker saw up Zoo 2-1 to move top of the table. Vihiga's Dennis Simiyu scored the all-important goal in the 86th minute. That was in a match that was attended by a small number of Gor fans. It's the first defeat for Gor's Portuguese coach Carlos Pinto since taking over 3 weeks ago, but Kogalo's third defeat this season after playing 6 games. That's 3 less than other teams. The result means that Kogalo drops to 10th place, still on 9 points, while Vihiga moved to 14 on 8 points from 9 matches. Let's have a look at some of those games Sunday where KCB will attempt to reclaim a top spot. That is when they host Western Steamer. Kariobangi Sharks take on AFC Leopards, and Kakamega Homeboys play Bidco. Let's move on to some athletics now. And Ferdinand Omanyala's 10.12 seconds in the 100 meters was one of the highlights of the second leg of the Athletics Kenya Relay Series at the Nyayo National Stadium. The third leg, which will strictly be via invitation, is scheduled for February 6th before the national trials on 26th March that will see a team selected to represent Kenya in May's World Relay Championships in Poland. With Kenya known more for its dominance in the long distance, the country is aiming for improved performances in the short to mid distances. Kenya scooped a bronze medal in the mixed relay that was at the 2019 World Relay Championships in Japan.
I've been training, I've been working hard, I've been targeting the national record, so it has come today, so it's a blessing. It's a blessing, yeah. I'm glad that I've run the fastest time in the world today. Yeah. My dream is running more of these international races so that I get the race sharpness. So I hope that I get a manager who will take me to those races.
Kwangu imekuwa kama mazoezi najiandaa katika mbio za Olimpiki ambayo itaandaliwa huko Tokyo, Japan. So kwangu ni mazoezi ya maana kwangu kwa sababu nitakuwa nimeongeza spidi na pia imenipea motisha kuwa kumbe naweza kimbia tena 800.
Omanyala's could have been a national record there. Unfortunately, the verdict was that it was wind assisted. Paul Otula has retained the position of Kenya Basketball Federation chairman, garnering 57 votes to beat opponent Cynthia Mumbo's 45 in the national polls held at the Nyayo Stadium Gymnasium. The veteran sports administrator was first elected to the helm back in 2008 and will now get another 4-year mandate, with the position set to be changed to president from chairman. First Vice Chairman Hilmi Ali, Second Vice Chairman Donald Leru, and Treasurer Peter Orero retained their seats unopposed. Meanwhile, Ambrose Kisoe, who was elevated to Acting Secretary General in 2019, was confirmed to the position, also unopposed. The polls were postponed by a year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Great. And Kenya Volleyball Federation National League Men's Champions GSU served off the new season in style, beating Kenya Prisons 3-2. Equity started their season on a positive note as well, seeing off Kenya Army in straight sets of 25-17, 25-19 and 25-15. In Mombasa, Kenya Defence Forces saw off Kenya Forest 3-1 in sets of 25-22, 25-20, 18-20 and 29-27 as KPA whitewashed Prisons Mombasa 3-0.
So first of all, thanks to the team for being together and attaining this first win. It's a very important win to us.
Our target is to be at the playoffs. Thus finish the league between number 1 and 4. We get at the playoffs and we'll work from there.
Mambo mengi naenda kurekebisha, especially mambo ya blocks na backward defense. Ndio niweze game ambayo inafuata niweze angalau kuwa na kupata ushindi.
Great. And there is that Chan Group D match, I do believe, about to kick off. But let's go to the fourth round of the FA Cup with Cheltenham currently hosting Manchester City. Interesting fact, by the way, that City had to use the local town bar in Cheltenham as a changing room, while a strong Southampton side knocked holders Arsenal out of the FA Cup in the fourth round, courtesy of a first-half own goal. The Saints pressed and were rewarded in the opening period. That was when Gabriel turned in Kyle Walker-Peters' cross in the 24th minute. It was the first goal Arsenal had conceded in 508 minutes as they suffered a first loss in 7 matches. Southampton will face another Premier League side, Wolves, in the next round. In select results, Brighton saw off Blackpool 2-1 and West Ham made light work of Doncaster 4-0. Looking at select fixtures Sunday when Chelsea take on Luton, and of course that big one between Manchester United and Liverpool. Arsenal lose. Where is Mark Masai in studio? Story for another day. That does it on Sport for tonight. Talk to me at Ido Aringo on Twitter. Let me know what you think about that FA Cup. And more sport tomorrow. Back to the lovely Olive Burrows.
Thank you, Ida, and thank you to, I should say, Flora Atieno as well. She's been our sign language interpreter tonight. Sorry, my brain is officially switched off. That's it for NTV Weekend Edition, but Jam Down is coming up in a few, so you may not be able to go out and party, but NTV is bringing the party to you. I see DJ Mo Spice somewhere. I don't know if they can see him as well, and he's preparing his equipment, getting ready to bring the party to us. What do reggae people say? Somebody told me Ja. I don't know how you say hi in Obai in reggae, but in Rastafarian I should say, but good night.